Thanks for your support as a channel member, Matt Dale. Here we go then, boys and girls. Our first summer in charge of Barnsley, our first proper transfer window, a review of the season just gone, and an attempt to put together a squad capable of, at the very least, a playoff push for the season ahead. That's what I'm looking for. It's not what the board are looking for. That's what I'm looking for. If you're excited for a transfer special, and I know you get excited for a transfer special, let's push the boat out. Let's go for 3,000 likes on this video, because these ones always get the most views anyway, so we may as well get the most likes to go with it. It just makes sense. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 5 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and summer transfer special. We do have a little bit of news, or breaking news early on. Firstly, we've just got our board but set the budgets, and would you believe, almost as if we knew this was coming, they've just kept the budget that we had left at the end of last season. You must always spend all your budgets, kids. If you want fresh budget, you must spend the budget you already have. They've just kept these amounts exactly the way we left them at the end of January. So £375,000 of wage budget, £4.81 million of transfer budget. We do have a little bit of wiggle room, but we're not going to be bringing in 11 players and spending £11 million again like we did in January. We did the bulk of our business then. This is going to be a more restrained transfer window, unless, of course, we sell a player for lots of money, which is a distinct possibility. Other pieces of news up early on. I've got my channel member reminder things. These are the two people who had their name in the game from the Kings Lynn youth intake. It looks like both of your players have retired. So I think it was Nathan Curry and Marius Hegley. You're both back in the pool, boys and girls. I assume you're both boys. You're both back in the pool. Your players retired. Better luck next time. First youth intake in the National League North was never going to be great, was it? But if you do want to get your name in the game, check out the join button. It's next to the subscribe button, and there is a name in your game option, and we will be meeting a couple of the new name in the game players in just a few minutes. In fact, scratch that. I've just had a look. Nobody was that keen on this youth intake, and I can kind of understand why. So these are what's left of the youth candidates that we got come in like 2 months ago, I guess now. Understandably, none of the channel members were particularly enamoured with any of these, so they're all holding their water for a future youth intake. I mean, this guy, where is he? This guy, best youngster we've had come through this season, and he's got potential to be, I mean, it doesn't even say, he's currently a National League North-South player. I don't think he's going to get much better than that either. Yay for youth. Can we invest? How good is our youth facilities? Good youth facilities, apparently. Prove it. And now, of course, we get into the end of season awards. A lot of this isn't going to be very relevant. Well, this part isn't going to be very relevant to us just yet, because obviously we've only been here 6 months. So this is the overall Barnsley best 11, and you can see there's not many of our players in it. Diabit Collins is still knocking around, I think, but he's like the 8th choice goalkeeper. There you go, 3rd choice goalkeeper. I mean, I've never given that man an opportunity. He was our first choice keeper up until this season. He wasn't registered when I arrived. I never bothered registering him, because what was the point? He obviously wasn't good enough. Diaby and Williams are obviously ours. McGeehan and Mowat in midfield. Wilkes, Beera, Brown, Woodrow, not one of ours. Where's he gone now? He's gone to Reading for big money. So they did lose their striker in the summer. It's a similar story to Bristol Rovers, I think. Barnsley lost their striker and needed Kev to come in and get them an attack. I did. I actually achieved it here because they gave me proper amount of money. So, end of season awards. Player of the year is Mowat with 35% of the vote. I probably would have given it to Jacob Brown, but I'm not going to argue too much with Mowat. He's been very good as well. Stevens getting 3rd place, who I think he probably deserves that as well. Very good signing from the previous manager for free in the summer. If we can pick up another couple like that this summer, we won't need to spend this £5 million. Goal of the season went to Mowat, which I think this is before I arrived, because I don't think I came in until mid-January, did I? So this is what Mowat was doing back in December. You can see they were using the 4-2-3-1 back then as well. So I didn't change things massively. I guess I just gave them the belief and Chong, and that was enough to turn this relegation-threatened team into a team that was going to win the league. What I don't understand is why Livramento's absolute screamer didn't win that. And signing of the season, this one gives me a lot of satisfaction, because if you remember back to I think it was episode 2, I made all those signings and the board liked all of them apart from one. They weren't impressed with the signing of Jaden Brown. They didn't think he was any good. Well, he's just won signing of the season for £1.32 million. In fact, I want to just go here and check. If we go on to transfer activity now, have they still got a grumpy on about him? Yeah, they still don't like him. He's just won signing of the season, you buffoons. Goodness me, I've fallen out with this board already. Can we get back to where we were? Signing of the season, youth player of the season, or young player of the season, not youth. Fraser Hornby, which at 23, I can allow that. So looking at our team of the season, Evtimov in goal, who I don't think I've mentioned. I sold him. An offer came in a little while ago from Houston. I sold him because I wasn't playing him, so he's gone. Back four of Brown, Diaby, Stevens and Williams. That is my first choice back four when they're all fit. Mowat and McGeehan in midfield. No Rimanod. I still don't know how to say his name properly. That's perhaps why he's not in. And then Chong, Beera and Brown with Hornby up front. It's my first choice front four. The only thing I disagree with there from what became my first choice team, obviously the goalkeeper. I wouldn't have Evtimov in there because I don't have him anymore. And I think those two are too similar to play together. That's why I brought in a real good box-to-box midfielder to play in there with them. But we did overachieve on certainly what I was expected. So I was asked to avoid relegation. We did. We finished mid-table, ended up with a 13th placed finish, a 5th round of the FA Cup, and overall a jolly good season. Look at that at the bottom there. This is the Kev effect. That's roughly where I joined, and we just turned into a mid-table team, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Club vision for the coming season then. Can we see which of these are new? If we go to negotiate, I think it tells us which are new. So there's nothing new on there. So they still want me to not sign anyone over the age of 28, sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, play entertaining football, and use the club's youth system. I mean, we've just looked at the youth system. Give me some players to use, and I'll use it. I'm not using any of that trash you've just given me. They want me to work within the wage budget, sign players to sell for a profit, which is why we do need to be looking to sell the likes of Brown maybe this summer if we get a big offer for him. Minimum 2 year, yeah. So next season they want top half finish in the Championship, and then just continue that going forward. I can live with all of that. I think we probably do need to be a little bit more ambitious than that long term. But for this coming season, a top half finish in the Championship, I'm fine to commit to that with the board. I'm thinking playoffs if we can make the right signings this summer. Dynamics-wise, McGeehan, Mowat and Beera are our team leaders. Dressing room atmosphere needs a little bit of fiddling with. Obviously, a lot of that is going to be because so many new players came in, and I think we probably do need to move some players on as well. We have a very big and bloated squad, and it looks like we might be about to sign our first player of the summer, although I'm less keen to do it. See, I'm waiting for him to get fully scouted. I've got him in mind as a replacement for Brown long term if Brown's going to be leaving, 19 years old, but I'm not going to sign him while he's only 28% scouted. I've got the deal agreed, but I need them to get on with scouting him. The deal's going to fall through because this is the second time I've delayed it. But I'm not going to bring a player in if I've not scouted him properly. That's madness. So on the topic of us having a bloated squad, I don't usually do what I'm about to do on camera, but it's a process I go through most summers anyway. I'm just going to go through and show just how bloated this squad is and get some players on the transfer list. So going position by position with all squads loaded, starting off with goalkeepers. Bearing in mind we've already sold Evtimov, we've got Hilson and Walton, who would be my two first choices. To be fair, I want to bring in a keeper over the top of Hilson. I want Hilson to be my backup and AN other to be my first choice keeper. So all these other keepers need to go. Brad Collins can go on the transfer list if he's not already on it. Are you on the transfer? He's already on the transfer list. Just offer him. Let's get rid of him. We can't offer him. Is he already going? So, he's already got a transfer arranged. He's joining Aberdeen. Who knew? But Kieran Wright, I don't even know who you are, but you're 24. Why are you here? Just leave. You're 24 years old. Get out of the way. You're blocking squad spots. Right back. I'm seeing this fresh with all of you. What I want to do is just adjust the LOLLUJO view slightly to add preferred position on, because some of these players, if I've not used them at all, I might not be completely familiar with what their preferred position is. So if we just move that up to alongside. Where is that? Yeah, just before actual position. So we can see which ones are actual right backs. So it doesn't get, because obviously otherwise I'll end up selling all of these. Like Livramento, 4th choice right back, get rid of him. But he's not. Actual right backs. We've got Williams, we've got Livramento, we've got a couple of players we can cover there. But then there's no other first team squad right backs. So we don't need to do anything about right back. Left back, I think we've got about 14 of them. So we've got Giles, who theoretically is first choice, but I've not really played him as such because I preferred Brown, my boy, that I brought in. There is Brown. Odor, we'll look at him again when we compare him to the wingers, but I think he's going to be leaving. Matty Folds at 25, 3rd choice. There's just no reason for him to be here. So let's, can we offer him out? Transfer list, get rid of him. Let's generate a little bit of money. Tyrese Dice, I mean, he's 22 years old. I don't know who he is. He can leave, get rid of him. And then we're just going to kind of go through the squad like this. I'm not going to show you all of this because it's probably quite boring just to go through every single bit of the squad. But we've got Stevens, Diaby. I would say Ekwarimbi. I would class him as like, ideally, a 4th choice centre-back who can also play defensive midfield. So I guess we probably do need to bring in another decent one. But Charlie Jansen, I mean, what's he for? I don't even know who. Mads Anderson, I don't even know who these people are. They've certainly not ever been anywhere near my team. Let's get rid. And we're going to go through and put lots of players on the Champions list. Champions list? The transfer list. I wish it was a Champions list. Then I'd keep them. Right, that's a whole load of players offered out for transfer. We've got some clauses that we can sell as well. Let's have a little look at some of these clauses. This guy doesn't look like he's actually going to make us any money. I mean, to be fair, we may as well just sell that clause just to get it out of the way because he's never going to be any good. We'll sell that one. Henry Kendrick, was that? We'll receive £8,000. We may as well take our £8,000. Ben Williams, we'll take our £50,000. This is the one I'm probably not going to cash in now because Brandon Malloy, we've got a 40% sell on this lad. And I do wonder if there's going to be a massive transfer. If he's worth £4 million now, if I sell him in 3 years for 40 million, we're going to be laughing. So I think we keep that 40% sell-on clause in place. I mean, that's on the next transfer. So, yeah, we keep that one. We'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, if the buyout keeps increasing, then we'll leave it. We might end up cashing in a little bit later, but we'll take those ones. So it gives us a little bit more in our budget. And then, really, a lot of this summer is going to be about scouting, constantly re-scouting these players that we've got on our shortlist to see if any gems pop out. We don't want to spend a lot of money on any one player because we don't really have a lot of money. We want to keep an eye on, I mean, particularly, we're keeping an eye on Brown. Where is he? I've sorted this by position now, so I can't find him anymore. Jacob Brown, who is still wanted by Reading and Stoke. What league are Reading and Stoke in? Are they in our division or are they in the division above? So Stoke are in the playoff semi-finals. Reading are in our division. I mean, I don't see that either of them. I would want £20 million plus to let him go. So I'm not banking on selling him. But if he goes, it's going to be for massive money and then we'll have some fun. Otherwise, maybe just look to bring in a striker. And really, there's a lot to be said for waiting for free transfers. Because if we were to turn all that into wage budget, we could bring in 4 or 5 real top quality free transfer players. So unless someone absolutely awesome appears, we're going to be waiting for the 1st of July, I think. We're through to the 9th of June, which is officially the start of the transfer window, and it has been a busy few weeks, starting with the players who've left. Courtney Senior has gone to Sunderland, 400,000. Charlie Jansen, St Mirren, 235,000. Shaka Mawuli Eklu, Hibernian, 135,000. Matty Folds, Portsmouth, 300,000. And Clark Odor, St Mirren, £450,000. That is a nice little bit of clearing out some of the deadwood. And we've brought in some youngsters, just cheap little bargains that might end up being any good. Luca Samkaradze, No idea. 19-year-old current Georgian international, 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. He's a centre-back from Tottenham. He's already as good as Ekwa Alimbi, almost as good as Diaby. Huge potential to get better. And a bit of a steal, £245,000 bargain. And that's kind of the theme of all of these. Mark Scully, 18-year-old striker, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He's got the potential, again, to get much better. Not good enough to get in and around the team just yet. Although, that being said, as a striker, almost as good as Wilkes, for example, who played a few games as a striker last season for us. He comes in from Arsenal for £300,000. And then lastly, Finlay Robertson is a 20-year-old current Scottish under-21 international, 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Already almost as good as the likes of Nyan, who, to be fair, he's going to be leaving, hopefully. But he's not a million miles away from our current central midfielders and has the potential to be a Premier League central midfielder in the future. I think what I've done there with our first 3 signings is sign players to sell for a profit. After all that business, we still have £5 million to spend. We still have money in the wage budget. And now I've signed players to sell for a profit. Hopefully I can sign players to help us win promotion, which I am still inclined to wait for the... don't do that. I'm still inclined to wait for the 1st of July and see what free transfers are available. And I know people always say, Kev, you know you can search for the free transfers now. I know I can. But what I can't do yet, which is one of the ways I get my free transfers, is go director of football, suggest transfer targets, ask for free transfers in a specific position. The end of contract one never really works. Free transfer, it only really works on the 1st of July. So at the moment, all I can do is look at the players I've currently got scouted and see who's going to be expiring in the next month, which gives me that as a list, which, I mean, to be fair, it's not a terrible list, but I'm sure there's probably a few better options, which we'll find when we ask my director of football about it on the 1st of July. So similar story to how I left you at the last cut. If anyone awesome appears on here, we'll bring them in. Malloy's still knocking around on there. Oh, someone wants him. Is that us? Oh, no, Scunthorpe want him on loan. Excellent. I'm tempted to try and bring him back on. Just keep him on loan with us forever and never let him go. But there's, I don't know, I think we need new scouts. There doesn't seem to be any really top quality players coming in. Although, to be fair, they did do me very well back in January when they found a lot of very good players very quickly. So I guess perhaps we just signed all the good ones and they need to go away and get some more. I'm hoping that's the case. I want to buy some players. I'm having a frustrating time. Players don't want to discuss terms with me. This guy, Leighton Stewart. I mean, to be fair, we wouldn't have been able to pay him 51 grand a week, but he was at Sunderland. He was on the transfer list there, scored loads of goals last year. I made an offer. I had an offer of £8 million accepted for him, and he wouldn't even discuss terms with me, and he's now gone to Sheffield United. That's frustrating. We had another one, which was, if we get in here, who was the other one? This one, Teden Mengi, who we had an offer accepted from Manchester United. We even discussed terms. Lots of other offers were accepted. Every time another offer was accepted, I increased my contract offer, and he's decided to go to Hull. I had a goalkeeper that I wanted, who is, if we sort this, where is he? Max O'Leary. Tried to sign this guy from Sheffield United. Manchester United want him, goodness me. Tried to sign him, won't even discuss terms with me. Every player that I find who is awesome doesn't want to discuss terms with me or ends up going somewhere else. It's a frustrating summer so far. We have sold another player, though. Mads Anderson has gone to AB for £185,000. But, yeah, I'm just living in a world of frustration. Sheffield United, for context, I mean, okay, they did get promoted, so they're actually not a divisional rival of ours. So I can kind of understand it. Why a Sheffield United player wouldn't want to come to us. Why a Sunderland player would want to go to them rather than us. But at least discuss terms with me, you turds. Urgh. very nearly the 1st of July, but I think I've done what I think is a smart piece of business, shuffling left backs around. We've just sold Ryan Giles for £2.7 million to Hibs, which seems like a crazy piece of business for a player that was brought in for free by the previous manager. I never really used. He played most of his games before I arrived. I didn't use him very much at all. I'd already replaced him. So to be able to sell him for £2.7 million and then replace him with Ryan Burke, who we've brought from Celtic for £55,000 and is a better left back. So I think that is a very solid piece of business. It's straight up like £2.645 million piece of profit so far. We've spent £1 million, brought in £4.4 million. We're about to hit the 1st of July and we've still got loads of money. The problem is, if I look at my scouted players, which I am doing constantly, there's nothing here. We can't, if we try and sign any of these foreign players, he perhaps isn't a good example because he's at Swansea. I don't want to sign a 28-year-old though. It goes against my my club philosophies. But let's say we want to sign this guy, Alberto Rojas, who's a Paraguayan striker from Udinese. Looks perfect. I mean, this is exactly what I want. But if I try and sign him, can I sign this guy? Interesting. So 950,000. I mean, we might be about to sign a striker here, boys and girls. So he's got a release clause, but it looks like we might not even need to hit the release clause because of that 950, unless he's signed a new contract. But what I was trying to say is every time I try and sign a player who's not based in the UK, based on work permits, we can't get them unless we pay them like 30 grand a week or spend £10 million up front on them. You can only sign... yeah, they didn't like that at all. So he has got a release clause, hasn't he? What was his release clause? As an active relegation release clause of 950,000. So let's just make that offer. So we might be able to get that guy, which I'll have a proper look at him. But, I mean, he looks considerably better than what we've got in that position at the moment for less than £1 million. But that wasn't the point I was trying to make there. Let's pick another one. I have tried this with a few players this summer. Let's find another an English player. There might be some players that I want to do some business with here. Bear with me. Right, here's a better example then. So Leonardo Balerdi, 24-year-old Argentinian, he's at Borussia Dortmund, wanted by a couple of clubs in Germany. Much better than anything we've currently got at centre-back. Would be available for £2 million. We go over here to make an offer, and straight away it says, not played enough recent games for his country, blah, 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 to get a work permit. On appeal, so it's because he's not a current international. Obviously, current internationals are way outside our price range unless they're from minor nations, which I guess is what that other guy was, which is why we might be able to get him. But he's not going to be playing regularly for Argentina and then sign for Barnsley. So on appeal, to get to the points threshold, then we'd have to pay £13.5 million for him to get him enough points to get a work permit. So although theoretically we could sign him for £2 million, there is not a chance he's going to get a work permit unless we pay way over the odds for him, in which case, if we're going to spend £13.5 million for a start, we don't have it. But if we did, we'd sign someone a lot better than Leonardo Balerdi. So that's the frustration I'm having with foreign players. So I guess this, because he's Ghanaian, he's actually playing for... That's not the guy we were talking about before. Where's the guy? That's not the player I'm trying to sign. Rojas, Paraguayan, and playing. There you go, that's why. So that's why we could potentially sign him if we wanted to. Do we want a 28-year-old centre-back? I mean, he does look decent for £2.2 million. Much better than what we've currently got. Can also play on the right wing, which is very handy for a right back. Does that mean he's short? No, 6 feet tall. We might go for this guy, just because I do think we need another centre-back. And I'm still annoyed that I missed out on him. But if we filter for centre-backs, we won't make a final decision until we see what's available for free tomorrow. But if we go by current ability for centre-backs, I don't want to get him because he's even older. He's more expensive and just as old. We know we can't get him. We know we can't get him. Chances are we're not going to be able to get him because he won't be playing for Spain. No, so he's not going to get... I mean, again, we can look at work permit-wise. We'd have to pay £13.5 million for him again. There's no point. So, of the centre-backs currently available, we could take Frankie Kent off of Posh. But again, at age 27, why would we when we could get him who's age 28 and probably much better? If we compare the two of them, where is he? So comparing those two, then, I mean, there's no contest, is there? He's far better. I'm going to make an offer just so that... What? He's also not played enough games, so we can't get him. So although he's already got a work permit at Swansea, because he's not been playing for them, he's then not been playing for them, which means he can't get a work permit for us. Can we take him on loan? Not interested in a loan. Right, we have made it through to the 1st of July. This is what our squad looks like currently. So if we have a look using our usual squad depth thingy, we've got two good goalkeepers, Hilson and Walton. We've got Brown and Burke as good left backs. We've got Williams and Livramento as good right backs. We've got Diaby and Stevens as good centre backs. We probably need one more. We've got Ekwa Alimbi and Sam Kadradze, the new guy we brought in. They're good young players, but I'd like another centre back up there with these two. Central midfield, we've got McGee, Mowat and Rimanota, who are top quality players for this level. We could probably do with one more, although again, to be fair, we've got some decent youngsters. We've got McCann, we've got Robertson, we've got Beera and Cottrell who can play there as well if need be. Attacking midfield, we've got Beera, we've got Slattery, we've got Cottrell who can all play there, plus Byrne and Mowat can get in there too. Left wing, I'd like a natural left winger because most of our left wingers would be better on the right-hand side. Chong, Wilkes, Byrne are all better on the right-hand side. But to be fair, none of them are going to get in the team on the right-hand side for as long as Brown is here. So we've got four very good wingers. It just so happens that they're all right wingers, but can play on the left a bit. If we could find a real top-quality left winger, I would take one. We've got Cottrell there as well, Mavididi. Lots of players who can play there. I don't think we're desperate to upgrade, but it would be nice to get a natural left winger. And by that, I mean right-footed inside forward who can play on the left-hand side. And then strikers, we've got Hornby. Brown can play there. Mavididi and Wilkes can play there. Again, it would be nice to get another real top-quality striker. But looking at that squad, there isn't actually anything that screams out as must improve. We know that this team we assembled in January, form-wise, this is probably already good enough to hit the playoffs. It's certainly good enough to finish in the top half of the table, which is our goal. We've got £5 million to spend. Unless we have to sell someone, I'm not desperate to go and bring in much in the way of real first-team ready players, apart maybe from a left winger. We have had offers this summer for Mowat, for Diaby, for Stevens, for Williams, for Brown. We're turning... No, not Brown, actually. I know we did get a £12 million offer for Brown, I think, that I turned down, because he's worth 12 million. I want more than that. But at the moment, no one's meeting my valuations of these players, so I'm not letting them go. And I'm just focusing on youngsters. We'll see how we do. We've got some trialists coming in now. Let's have a look at them. Right, we have lots of trialists in. Let's have a little look at what we've got in this variety of positions that we've got them in. There are a few familiar faces as well. Obviously, Stephen Kingsley, who was with us at Bristol Rovers. We're not going to sign him because we've got two better left-backs. Some familiar faces from non-league to legends past as well. Farrand Rawson, I think, is a player we may... Oh, well, there you go. We had him at Forest Green last year, not at Bristol Rovers. But I remember him being a decent player, but not good enough to come and play for us in the Championship. And that's kind of the story for a lot of these. This guy, Tyler Magloire, previously of Blackburn, might be okay if he's cheap. Again, I'm not desperate for any of these. This guy, Teo Owinii, is supposed... But we're not going to get a work permit for him. We have to apply for a new work permit from October, so... He was at Liverpool, signed for Liverpool years ago, like literally 8 years ago, signed for Liverpool, has spent every season on loan throughout Europe. but now he's not going to get a work permit, so there's no point looking at him. McKay, is he the winger that I want? I mean, to be fair, he is a right-footed inside forward who can play on that left-hand side. He can also play anywhere across here as well, but we'd be signing him to play there. The only issue with him is he's 28 years old and not as good as Chong, so he's not going to come straight into the team. He was a fringe player for Sheffield Wednesday in this league. I don't think any of these are really the calibre that I was looking for. We go back to the original plan of just bringing in youngsters, I think. I don't want to waste money on someone like that when we could bring in a 19-year-old who could fill that role, if we can find one. That's annoying, though. These stupid work permits. Urgh. Does it even say how much we need to offer him to get him a work permit? No. So I guess he's failed to get a work permit at Liverpool, which is why he's been released. I remembered a right-footed left winger who could make a difference. And then I went and signed him. Harry Chapman. Welcome to Barnsley. The Chapmans have come to take over again, boys and girls. He was awesome for us at Bristol Rovers. I feel like I'm doing them a disservice by only spending $275,000 on him. To be fair, though, we did make a profit on him. $110,000 purchase. Sold on for $275,000. Scores plenty of goals. We know he's effective on that left-hand side. And most importantly, he's a right footer on the left-hand side who's going to be able to cut inside, play as that inside forward. He's unlikely to regularly be in the team ahead of Chong, but if Brown leaves and Chong goes over to the other side, Chapman comes in on the left. And that's not the only piece of business we've just done. James Brivio is a name that you might remember from Bristol Rovers again last season. He was one of the youngsters who was on loan at Portsmouth and scoring loads of goals and was in the media Dream 11. Norwich, he was valued at like £8 million, but Norwich put him on their transfer list for 1.8 million. And I thought, you know what? 1.8 million with the potential that you've got. Yeah, we'll bring you in. He can play up front as the pressing forward. He can also play out on that left wing as an inside forward. He can use either foot. He's a good finisher. He's quick. He's good in the air. He's a pretty well-rounded striker for a 19-year-old. A little bit expensive, but hopefully he's going to be another one that we're able to sell on for a profit. And then we've brought in a young centre-back, Tom Richardson, 18 years old, current Irish under-21 international. Only 1.5-star current ability. Don't expect to see him in the team anytime soon, but loads of potential. Could be a good championship defender in future. Played a game for Manchester City in the league last year, so can't be that bad. We still have £4.5 million to spend. I think we might be close to done. Looking at the squad, unless we can find a defender, a first team ready defender, or a better goalkeeper than Hilson, and they're just not coming up on my scout reports. And we keep finding players that I'd quite like, and then they go somewhere else. It's making me so cross. I'm coughing about it. And yes, I know I've had that cough for ages now. Thank you for your concern. But they just don't exist. Defender who could actually... No work permit. Too old. No work permit. Wouldn't sign for us. The scumbag. He'd have been the perfect one. I mean, do you reckon Hull will sell him? Yes, they will, for £25 million. See, they know they've got a good deal there. But it's the same all the way down. You get as far as Frankie Kent, and I look at him and I think, you're 27 years old. You're not good enough to get straight into the team. So you're never going to get in the team. You're going to cost me over £1 million. I'm just going to go with the two youngsters that I've got, I think, and give them the time. So there's no reason to go out and buy a defender. And then we go through the same process again with goalkeepers. And we look at them and I think Max O'Leary would be great, but he doesn't want to come. He's made that very clear. He doesn't want to come and sign for us. No work permit, no work permit, no work permit. This guy, is he... I mean, to be fair, I haven't noticed him before. He is better than what we've got, but not by a lot. At least he's not 5'9". But we could have had him on a free transfer, so we're not going to get him anyway. He's been playing for Burton in League One. Forest have just signed him for free, so we're not going to bring him in anyway. There'll probably be more business, but at the moment, I have no idea what it will be. It could be anything or nothing. I bet you thought for this next cut I'd be coming back and telling you about all the players I'd bought and all the money I spent, didn't you? Because I did. I was convinced that was going to happen. But here we are on the first day of the new season, and I haven't done anything else. My squad is good. I mean, actually, it's not strictly true. We brought in Tony Springett, who is a young right winger who is available for free, having been released by Norwich. And he's going to go out on loan now, probably. And we loaned some players out. And that is it. We've actually operated on a transfer profit this summer. £4.4 million worth of players out. £3.1 million worth of players in. And yeah, we've still got loads of money left. £4.5 million left. We're paying less in wages than we were last season. We've got a higher... This feels wrong. I realise this is probably just a sensible summer, especially for a club like Barnsley, who've never been one to go and splash the cash all over the place. I mean, as you can see, the only time it's ever really happened was when I did it in January. And I guess I'm saving myself some January money again. There might still be players that come in, but to be honest, I think our squad was pretty close to finished before. I think Chapman is a big acquisition for the squad because he gives us a little bit of balance on that side. I think Burke probably similar on that side when I've got two good left backs. But there's no one who comes in and obviously comes straight into the team. But I don't know that that's what we needed. We did that in January. If we have a look at the season preview stuff, I don't know if you can see on here. Hornby is the favourite for top scorer in the division. So we've got our good striker. He's already here. He's not in the Media Dream 11. We don't have anybody in the Media Dream 11, which is a little bit of a shame. But then I guess you've got loads of players who were playing in the Premier League last season who've just got relegated. So we're not going to. But Hornby is favourite for top scorer. The media think we're going to finish 14th. If we can finish top half, the board will be happy. I still suspect we might be good enough for the playoffs. But I don't know the last time I ever went to the first day of the new season with a team of players who were all here on the last day of the season before. It feels so wrong. Brown's not in the team because he's got blisters, not because I've sold him. Blisters. We started the summer thinking we'd get £20 million for him, and we got blisters. Bless him. There is still a week of transfer window left. There might be another deal or two that comes in between now and then. Jack Marriott, interesting. Don't need him, but I don't know. These are all the young players sorted by if they're any good or not. We can't sign any of the foreign ones. We couldn't sign him because he wouldn't come. We've tried to bring in a lot of players and just consistently failed at him. I mean, this guy, I looked at him all summer thinking, I mean, he is a bit of a bargain, £3 million, loads of potential, but he's a right back and we've already got two really good young right backs. There was no reason to spend the money to bring him in. I've been far too sensible. We missed out on him, by the way. He went there. I think this is a good squad, and I think that's a good team for the first day of the season, and we'll find out in tomorrow's episode. Oh, it is tomorrow. We're back on normal schedule from tomorrow. Yay. So you'll find out tomorrow if this team's any good when we play the first two games of the new season. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.